it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
Pulse. That better. All right. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties.
There we
go.
All
right. Welcome back, everybody, to Game on NTX, Local Heart National Pulse. Today's show is brought to you by Ensemble Co-working, Fort Worth's hub for private offices, co-working, meeting space, and virtual mail. Find your perfect workspace at ensemblecoworking.com. Woo-wee, how you doing?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. It's almost football season, so things are looking up.
Yeah, this last weekend was the last weekend without college football. Thank God. I think we have a game tomorrow night, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure. I'm more focused on not this Saturday, but next. But yeah. I do know it starts soon, and I'm looking forward to this. Should be a fun season. Not necessarily. We get the NFL going. We both love the NFL as well. We're both college guys, but we both love the NFL as well. But I'm just excited for football season in general. High school. I know your son's game. He starts playing soon. So
I'm stoked for it. Well, tonight we're going to jump into some Texas Longhorns talk. We're going to talk about the Texas Rangers and our beloved Dallas Cowboys. But let's first jump into some quick hitters. So I've got one main quick hitter, and we'll do that one last. But let's talk about Aaron Judge, man. So he's the first to hit 40 home runs this season. He's the first player.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he did injure his elbow. Apparently, he's nursing an elbow injury. They're saying it's probably going to require Tommy John.
Ooh.
So
yikes.
That pretty much limits him to the DH role until either they don't make the playoffs or they get eliminated from the playoffs, and then he's probably going to be out the next year as well. Last night, the Yankees tie a franchise record. They hit 9 home runs in one game.
Holy crap.
They pummeled them.
That is unreal.
Yeah. And then just talking about Aaron Judge, man, there was an article released about him, 319 home runs in his career as of March, right? He hit 319 career home runs in his first 1,000 games. That's 40 more than the next closest player to reach 319 home runs.
Wow, it's 40 ahead of that pace?
Correct.
Wow, so, that's impressive.
That's otherworldly.
Kids
he's a freak.
Yeah, the young man looks like he could be an NFL tight end or offensive tackle or something. He's huge.
Yeah, he just screams
athletic ability.
Shockey.
He's got tremendous athletic ability. He
looks like those guys that convert from power forward to tight end. Like he's built like that,
Yeah, he's a super talented guy.
He is.
It's injuries. It's all a part of sports. We all know that, but it
is.
We don't necessarily. I know that you and I don't have any love for the Yankees, but it is tough for somebody that's at the top of their game and gets sidelined like that.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Now, just since May 5th, just for FYI, before that he'd hit 6 home runs up until May 5th. He was batting like 119 or something. New York fans and media were killing him. Since then, he's batting 377 with 34 home runs. So, he's definitely thick in the MVP discussion. So
yeah, and dude, I don't know. Cal Raleigh's killing it. Judge is having a phenomenal season. It's going to be a toss-up.
It is, and I think a lot of that has to do with where they both end up too.
Oh yeah.
So I mean. It is what it is. Now, last quick hitter on Tuesday, Netflix special America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys, chronicling Jerry Jones purchasing the Dallas Cowboys, and his firing of beloved Tom Landry and Tex Schramm, and you watch that, and at first they do a really good job of painting Jerry as a villain at first, and then as the series goes on, showing he did it the right way with Jimmy's help.
Oh yeah.
But watching that makes me realize, dude, I love Jerry Jones, the businessman, the person.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I fucking hate him as a GM.
I'm right there with you. I've always said that if he would just have let a football man do his job.
Let McClay do his job, man.
Yeah,
That's all you got to do, and you're going to be fine.
I would agree with that. But about my theory in business has always been, you hire good people, hire good people that are good at their job, and let them do their job. Don't micromanage them. But he won't even not only will he not micromanage, he won't even hire those people.
No, he won't. We can talk more about that because that kind of ties into what we're going to talk about later in the show when it comes to the Cowboys. What do you say we jump into some Texas Rangers? This ought to be short and sweet.
Yeah, it's not going to be a lot to this. It's they've been struggling, and they lost another one last night, and there's a good chance they're going to get swept in Kansas City. Team they've fallen. They were they got 3 or 4 games over 500. They have since fallen back. They were literally on the cusp of a wild card berth. As far as their record, they were a game. Was it a half game behind for the final wild card spot? Now they are 6.5 games back, and they're going to have to leapfrog 3 teams to get in there, or 2 or 3 teams to get in there. Yeah, because they now have Cleveland ahead of them. I believe is Kansas City ahead of them now. Or it's Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland, Kansas City. Boston and Seattle.
Yeah.
Those are your Boston and Seattle right now are going to be your wild cards.
Yep.
But Cleveland and Kansas City, and they're 4 back of those 2 teams.
Yeah, and you're not going to get a chance to make up any ground on Seattle.
No.
So you got to hope that either Boston starts sliding or someone else just starts go on an uncontrollable, slide, because essentially at this point, how many games are there left? Like 36?
Not a lot.
35. You're going to have to win at minimum like 22 of those.
Yeah, and
to be close.
And this team has shown me nothing that makes me think that they're going to do that.
No.
The pitching staff has been really good. At times, you've had great offense, great relief pitching, great starting pitching. But it rarely happens at the same time. And then your pitching staff has been really, really good all year for the most part, especially your starters.
Yeah.
You don't have the offense to make up for it when they do struggle.
Yeah.
So, and they're starting to see some cracks there, starting to get worn out. Josh Young hasn't been playing lately, and he's healthy, but he hasn't been playing lately. I don't know if they're trying to scapegoat him for the entire offense being bad, or what's going on there. But I don't know. Maybe they look to trade him. He's still a young player, a little bit injury prone, I think. But there's a lot of changes coming this offseason for this team, and could be the biggest one could be Bruce Bochy, because his future is still up in the air. They don't know if he's coming back.
Reportedly, he's not there tonight either. I saw that he's dealing with a personal matter. You never know what that means. It could be wife sick, could be sick kid, could be death in the family. You never know, or it could be he's done. With a guy like Bochy, he's a Hall of Famer. He's won 4 of them.
Yeah.
You just never know. He's not the type of guy that's going to quit. I don't think that's the case. I love Bruce Bochy. He's cemented his legacy in DFW sports all time, winning a World Series his first year as the manager of the Texas Rangers.
Oh yeah.
He is up there on the same level as Dirk Nowitzki and those type of guys. He's a guy that came in, embodied the hard hat and lunch pail work ethic, and took a under the radar team, made it to the playoffs, and went on a tear to win that thing.
All right, I got a question for you. You said you don't think he'll just quit.
No.
His contract's not up. And they're gonna, like I said, there's gonna be a heavy turnover of the roster next year. In the offseason, you can see that coming. Do you think he's going to want to? It's not going to be a full rebuild because you've got some guys on big name guys on big time contracts that aren't going anywhere. So you're not going to completely mail it in. But it's going to be a little bit kind of a reboot, if you will, with a lot of new players. Do you think he's going to want to be around for that?
Let's put it this way: why not reboot it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not arguing the fact that something needs to change.
Yeah.
But the fact is, do you think he wants to stick around for that?
It depends on if he still wants to coach or not. I mean, that if he really loves it, if he really loves coaching, then yeah, he'll be here. But if he wants to retire and watch his grandkids play baseball, which that's what he was doing, when CY called him, he called him. And I think he was managing the National League team for France, and he was like, "We weren't very good," And you love Boch.
Absolutely. He's a baseball lifer, though. But
whatever he does, if he decides to call it quits, my baseball heart, my Texas Rangers heart is going to hurt.
Oh, yeah.
But that dude deserves to do whatever the hell he wants to.
He does.
But in my opinion, that goes to show you. I think he's going to have a discussion with CY in the offseason. He's going to say, "Hey, what are we going to do?" Because last season did not cut it. I know that he's in those conversations with him. I know that he tries to give guys a benefit of the doubt. You see it with Robert Garcia. He wants to believe in the kid. He likes the kid.
Yeah.
But the kid, he's not ready yet.
He's not one of those guys that's going to be back.
I don't think so.
Because they're guys that can do what he does. Yes, he's left-handed. He throws hard, but his fastball's pretty straight.
Yep.
But there's a lot of those guys out there. You can get a lot of those guys. They're not cheaper. They're not really hard to find. So
yeah, you can find a flame-throwing lefty and
bullpen guy, setup guy. But
you can find those guys, and he hasn't worked out, unfortunately.
It's just been so frustrating for me because seeing what they did in 23, they fell off last year, but the starting pitching this year has been, freaking lights out with Evaldi and DeGrom, and earlier in the season, Patrick Corbin, he's come back to earth pretty hard. But the fact is, it's been because we almost never have good pitching, deep pitching. And it has been this year. And heck, I even got a little excited because they added Merrill Kelly.
Yeah.
His results have kind of been up and down.
This pitching staff kind of reminds me of that 2010 year, when they had Cliff Lee, they had guys that were towards the end of their career, later in their careers, that were just overachieving, but they had the one ace in Cliff Lee, and then, the rest is history. Cliff Lee left, and it was back to the drawing board, but they figured it out. CJ Wilson was dealing, Colby Lewis was dealing, the
Cobra.
Love Colby Lewis, he's those guys, those underdog guys, tough guy. I'll never forget. It's like he walked off barrel chested.
Always.
Remember that. I love Colby Lewis.
Well, and one of my favorite stories is, when they had traded Ian Kinsler and he came back and Colby started that game. And of course, Ian hits a home run off of him first game and staring down the dugout when he was rounding stuff and, didn't even throw at him. He gets back up. And the next time up, he just pops it straight up. And Colby looks at him and says, "That's more like it." He said that's more like it, whatever, like that. Like that's what you expect from him a lot.
Yeah, the pop-up king.
Anyway,
I mean, 4-12 since the deadline, I think it was. He went bargain bin shopping, didn't address the two biggest needs, which was a bat and a closer. We've talked about this since the season started. They just didn't do it, And I don't know if you realize, Kalum 1.16 ERA with Minnesota. He's at a 6.35 ERA with Texas.
Yeah.
Phil Maton had a 2.35 ERA with the Cards. He's at a 7.36 ERA with Texas.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just don't work out.
Yeah.
This is just one of those that blew up in our face.
And I think they gave up. I think, Merrill Kelly is a good pitcher, but I think right now at this point, looking and see what the results have been. Granted, hindsight's 20/20. You can't go back, but they gave up a couple of good prospects to get him, and that that may, and they're pitchers, so that may come back to haunt them down the road. But
it sure as hell did when we traded Emmanuel Clase
for Corey for one inning of Corey Kluber.
Mm-hmm. That sucked.
That was terrible.
To each their own. I know it's depressing talking about them. We're ready for football and hockey season to start.
Yes.
Football's right around the corner.
Even
and hockey is
basketball. I'm kind of
closer.
excited for basketball.
Basketball too.
The Cooper Flag era.
I can't wait to watch it, man.
Yeah, he's.
I know he's going to play defense and he's going to score a little bit. We'll see how elite he can be scoring. I think he develops, but don't want to go down that rabbit hole because then we'll get off topic.
True story with you and I. That's always a risk.
That's what we do, baby. That's what we do. Let's jump into some Longhorn talk.
Let's do that.
So we got 3 preseason All-Americans. Michael Taft, Colin Simmons, and Anthony Hill. Let me ask you this: if there is one word that you could use to describe the Texas Longhorns, what their strength is going to be this year, what would it, like a descriptor of the team? What would it be?
Their offense, I believe it's still a little bit of a work in progress. Not too much because I think Arch is going to be solid. But if I had to pick one side of the ball that I think is going to be outstanding is the defense. And the 3 players you mentioned, I love there. Those guys are those are your 3 levels of defense.
Yep.
You've got Colin Simmons off the edge on the line off the edge. You've got Anthony Hill at linebacker, and then you've got Michael Taft as a safety. So you've got All-Americans at 3 different levels of that defense.
Absolutely.
That's impressive. And that edge room in Texas, they are going to be bringing heat every second. If you get behind against that team, if you get into passing downs against that team, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that we have exceptional coverage on the back end, but we have good solid coverage. I think Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill are gonna just tear people up this year. He was the freshman. Colin Simmons, freshman of the year last year, and he didn't even start. He wasn't even starting most of those games.
NASCAR package.
I think he's going to have a hell of a year, and I think Anthony Hill, he should win or be up for every major defensive award in the country. He's that good. That kid's going to be a first-round pick.
Yeah.
He's a monster. He's also a DFW kid, by the way, which is super cool. You knew that.
Denton Ryan. Yep.
Yeah, Denton Ryan. But no, I'm excited about that defensive side of the ball, and I mean, I'm excited to see what Arch can do.
Yeah. The word I think of when I think of this team is depth.
Oh yeah, well, except for one area I tell you one area that does scare me the most, and that's your offensive line. Because you've got some bodies there. I don't know how good they are. We talked about a couple of weeks ago. We talked about losing Andre Kojo, he wasn't going to win the starting tackle spot, but he was going to be close to that level.
He was going to contribute. He was going to be your swing guy, I think.
Yeah, he was, and so that's going to hurt. I'm a little worried about that. I mean, I like our receivers. I did hear good news this week. C.J. Baxter, who's coming back from a major knee injury, and Sark had said that they were going to try and take it easy with him, take it slow with him. They got him in practice, and he was running hard. And Sark said, he said we're going to reset that because he said they're going to amp it up a little bit with C.J. Baxter. He's a super talented player. He was one of the top running backs when he came out. He gets back to there, and you got a little 3-4 headed monster, but you got the two top guys, Trey Wisner and C.J. Baxter. You mix in Jarrett Gibson and what's the other? I don't remember the other kid's name. It's
Christian Clark.
The
other kid that got hurt.
Yeah, he's coming off a big injury too.
That was the tough thing about last season. You had 2 of the big parts of your your running backs. Christian Clark and C.J. Baxter got hurt. Not both non-contact injuries, which you never like to hear because everyone knows what that is.
Yeah.
But Quintravion Wisner was quite the find. He was going to be that gadget guy, and contributed heavily on special teams. But he went in there and he balled out, dude. He's the returning. He's returning. He's a top SEC rusher.
Yeah.
In the conference.
Oh yeah. Not a big guy, but he runs hard.
He runs hard. He's another DFW kid, right?
Yeah, DeSoto
kid.
DeSoto, yep.
So you've got at this point you've got Travion Wisner, you've got C.J. Baxter, you got Christian Clark, and then you've got Jarrett Gibson,
Baby Rhino.
Right? Baby Rhino. He's built like a grown man.
He's a hoss.
At 18. He's a hoss. He's got problems hanging onto the ball.
Well, yeah,
that's tough. But then you figure in freshman James Simon. They're boasting one of, if not the deepest running back room in the country,
especially with Baxter coming back. My one question with him is he going to have the explosiveness that he has? That he had
I think you
before.
got that answer from Sark.
Yeah.
So if he says we're not going to take it slow with him, we're going to go full speed ahead. I think that tells you where he's at now. Going into this, right? Depth across the board, O-line, their guys have been there for a while. They should be prepared and ready to go.
Yeah, everywhere else is really deep, though. This name that I heard that I like, by the way, one more. I'll interrupt you there, but one more name that I heard that I like. Parker Livingstone's a true freshman. They said, and I haven't seen a ton of stuff, but everything I've heard from coming out of that camp was he looks ready to contribute right now as a true freshman.
Grayson Littleton is
there's another one.
Looks great. Jalen Gilbo looks great. Hearing great things about the safeties, and not only that, like you've got 2 or 3 deep safeties at each position, dude. Yeah. Like this defense is
it's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a problem for a lot of people.
For a lot of other teams.
Yes, like this is not a team you want to meet. And if the offense comes out hot and they go up by 17-21, you're done.
You're in trouble.
You're in trouble
because they're going to be coming after your quarterback.
I don't know if you saw Colin Simmons when Ohio State announced that Julian Sayin was going to be the starting quarterback. I think it was his Instagram or social medias. He posted a photo of Julian Sayin. So that kind of tells you what the mentality of this defense is. And you can call us Texas homers all you want.
Yeah, but you're hearing this from all over the country too. For the record, for those that don't know, Julian Sayin is going to be the starting quarterback at Ohio State. He is a true freshman. And so you never know the kid's super talented. He was one of the top quarterback recruits in the country, but you never know what you're going to get out of a freshman, especially in the first game of the season, and you're playing against in my opinion, a championship caliber defense.
Yep.
So, man,
he was recruited heavily by Texas.
He was recruited by everybody. The kid's he's a highly thought of quarterback.
Yeah, Sark liked him.
I will say this: there's questions that I'm not sure about that I want to see. Texas has to replace Gunnar Helm, who turned into a big weapon last year. They've got the kid from Cal transfer, Jack Indries.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be really high on him. They seems to be pretty good. So I'm interested to see what he's got.
You've got Jordan Washington sitting behind him too.
Yeah, I'm eager to see what he has in the passing game. And we talked about the running backs, John, but you got to remember somebody else. You got to factor somebody else's legs in there too. Your quarterback can actually run this year too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that you want to run him too much because behind him, I don't know. I'm not real thrilled with any of the back or either of our backup options right at the moment.
Yeah, I think where Arch's legs make the big difference is in the red zone.
Short yardage, yeah.
You didn't really have to worry about that with Quinn. I love Quinn Ewers. Don't get me wrong.
But that wasn't something you had to worry about with him.
That was not his strong suit. He ran a little bit in high school, but dude, I was talking to Jace earlier. He was telling me about going against this kid. This kid's an all-district, nose guard. Going against him in practice, he said, "I'm getting good reps." And talking about college, and I was like, "Well, in college, everyone's an all-district nose guard."
100%. Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh yeah, no doubt about it." And it's kind of the same thing, right? When you're competing and dominating, at South Lake Carroll, you can run the ball, right? But when you're playing against the cream of the crop, it's not easy to run them. And he there were at times that he would, I think he ran a little read option. I forget who it was against.
Yeah.
He did that a few times, but he's not going to blow the door. He's not going to run past you. He's not going to run you over. That's for sure. I don't think Sark wants Arch to do that, but he is capable of lowering that shoulder.
He's built like a tank, but you also saw, dude, he showed off some wheels last year. Didn't he have like a 70-something yard run
against UTSA?
He can run, and he was leaving. He was running away from the DB.
He will dust it.
But I don't think you want to run him too much. I don't think you want to make that a huge part. You got to pull that out when you have to, because you need to keep him. You need to keep him healthy.
The fact of the matter is, Manning is the future of Texas football.
Yep, that's all you need to say right there.
He's behind a rebuilt offensive line.
Yeah, that scares me a little bit. Like I said, that's
Trevor Gooseby. I'm fully confident in him.
Yeah.
DJ Campbell, I've heard great things about him.
Coming back, the one returning starter. Yeah,
he's nasty and he's physical.
Good.
Heard the same thing about Neto Umeozulu.
Okay,
he's big and physical. Yeah. Now you're replacing a guy that started 4 or 5 years at center, right?
Yeah.
You're replacing him, and that's probably going to be Robertson, if not Holden, or what's his name? God, I forgot his name. Drew a blank. But then you've got at the right tackle, you got Andre Baker. Now,
Brandon Baker.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Brandon Baker. And then at wide receiver, you're replacing Matthew Golden, Isaiah Bond, Gunnar Helm with guys and Silas Bolden, right? Don't forget him.
Oh yeah,
he flashed too.
Yeah,
you're replacing him with, like you said, Parker Livingstone, DeAndre Moore, who's probably going to be the centerpiece of the offense receiving, along with Ryan Wingo. Ryan Wingo got some burn.
I think I think that kid's a beast. I really do.
Great things about him, right? He's got NFL genetics.
Oh yeah, he's
And then Emmett Mosley.
From the transfer from Stanford, and Stark and the staff seem to really love that guy. They said he brings a lot to the table.
A little bit right now.
Yeah.
So Parker is getting a lot more burn, and he's making the most of it. Good. And then you figure in the young guys, Jamie French and Dalen McCutcheon. I've heard great things about Dalen McCutcheon as well.
What about Khalil Lockett? From what I understand, he's done pretty well too.
He's doing well. He's going to get some chances. Maybe in these games. I mean, the problem is they're deep.
They're young, receiver wise, and those guys. Two of those three guys we just talked about there at the end are 5-star guys. They were, they were probably two of those guys were probably top 5 receivers.
But here's the thing, right? You show the leader of your team showed, you're not going to come in right away and play because that may not be what's best for the team, right? Arch Manning came in and rode the pine for 2 years.
If he goes in and takes a back seat, really, you nobody else can really come in and say, nope, I deserve to start.
Yeah, he bought into the program. He 100%. Bought into Stark. And, we'll get back into it a little bit when we come back from the break.
Sounds good.
Attention all business owners and creative minds. Do you need a unique and personalized touch for your products? Look no further than Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs. We offer custom laser engraving services for a variety of products, including promotional items and corporate or personal gifts. With state-of-the-art equipment and a team of skilled designers, we can engrave intricate designs on virtually any material. Whether it's a special message, a company logo, or a custom design, Romika Laser Engraving will help you make your mark. And the best part, our prices are affordable and our turnaround time is quick.
I couldn't be happier with the work Romika Laser Engraving did for me. The engraving on my product was precise and exactly what I wanted.
So don't wait any longer to add a personal touch to your products. Call Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs today at 817-400-4040 or visit our website at romikadesigns.com. We look forward to helping you make your mark.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Game on NTX, Local Heart, National Pulse. Today's show Just a reminder, today's show is brought to you by Ensemble Coworking, Fort Worth's hub for private offices, co-working, meeting space, and virtual mail. Find your perfect workspace at ensemblecoworking.com. So I think we pretty much wrapped up Texas Longhorn talk. Next week is really going to be exciting. All the talk that's going to happen with the talking heads and national college sports and gearing up for that big week 1 matchup against Ohio State. It's going to be fun. Can't wait for it. It's going to be a litmus test for both teams that are replacing a lot of talent. So that's all I had on Texas, unless you got anything to add before we go into Cowboys.
No, I think we'll get more into Texas next week when it's game week, and we'll talk a little bit more about that on next Wednesday. But let's get into the meat of this thing now. Dallas has their season starts here before too long, but like you said, Netflix released the documentary Tuesday, America's Team, the Gambler and His Cowboys. It chronicles from when Jerry Jones bought the team up until now.
Yep.
It's been, for those of us that are old enough to remember the glory days of the '90s. I'm actually old enough to remember a little bit the end of the end of the '70s and early '80s. But it's been a trip down memory lane for me. Reminded me how much fun it used to be to watch that team and just how talented they were and how hard they competed, and just looks like they had a lot of fun playing together. I fell in love with that team when I was a very, very small child. I think I've told you before. I had the team photo of the '77 championship team on my wall when I was like 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been pretty much ingrained in me my whole life. And we both have kind of taken a step back from the team and quit letting them hurt us because it would ruin our week when they lost. But that doesn't change the fact that we both still love this team and we would like to see this team do well.
Man, I was a '90s baby.
Yeah.
So going to school, everyone, you either wore a San Francisco 49ers starter jacket or you wore a Dallas Cowboys starter jacket. There were a couple other ones sprinkled in there, but back then it was the San Francisco 49ers. And, I know it makes me throw up in the mouth a little bit. But being a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, I remember being at my grandmother's house and laying on the floor and watching the game on the big
console TV, baby.
Big console TV,
Heck
baby.
Yeah.
Watching it, it was like there was one thing that was brought up in that series, right? And I forget what episode it is. It's either the first or second episode where they're talking about, they go from the sale, right, to Jerry Jones to rebuilding. They had 2 straight years of just awful football.
Atrocious football.
4 or 5 games in 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you could see the transition, in year 3 with Jimmy Johnson. I think they went 7-9 that year. You could see the upward trajectory, after they made the trade for Herschel Walker, and they really fleeced Minnesota.
Oh no, that's the trade that built this team. Just like the Mark Teixeira trade was what built the Rangers in 2010 and 2011. Built that team that went to back-to-back World Series. The Herschel Walker trade, it helped build the foundation for that Cowboy dynasty. And the fact is, you saw in the piece that if they released those players, then they ended up getting draft picks instead. And they released all of them. And they ended up bringing back, Isaac Holt, and he ends up being on the team for several years.
Yeah.
But everybody was talking about how terrible the trade was, and it looked like an atrocious trade. You gave up Herschel Walker, one of the best players in the league, for a bunch of nobodies, and you got instead you turned it into all the draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it built the foundation for that team. It was a very shrewd move, and also Dallas even kicked in $2 million in that deal to make it look even worse.
And to the fans that are like, well, first you come in and you fire Tom Landry, and second you fire Tex Schramm, and then on top of everything else, you trade our best player for pennies on the dollar. And Jerry, to his credit, he just took it with a smile on his face. He was like,
and like you said, he freely admits the way he handled Tom Landry the firing of Tom Landry was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He completely mishandled that, and he does know that. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
you can't fix it, but he
Yeah.
knew. I mean, you bought the team. Tom Landry left town, went back to Austin where he lives.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Jones got on a private jet and flew down there. But this is the night before that he goes to, and him and Jimmy Johnson are going out to eat Mexican food, and it turns out it's Tom Landry's favorite restaurant. Everybody knew what was going on. It was pretty obvious. But then he goes down there to fire Tom Landry, and I mean, when you go about it the way he did it, when you fire football Jesus, and
especially in Texas,
and make no mistake about it, in Texas, Tom Landry was it was. I'm not trying to be blasphemous here, people, but it was kind of like God, and then like Tom Landry,
Yeah. Hey, if you don't know how football ranks in the state of Texas, that's on you. That's not on us.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Texas is in front of family and below God.
It's
barely.
right. It's
barely.
right there. It's right there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way it is. Yeah. And the thing that I was going to say though, I forget which time, what episode it was in, but someone goes, by God, the Cowboys are the best looking team I've ever seen. They are that good. They're going to win for years and years and years. I heard that, and I immediately went, I missed that, man. I was a little kid. I had a bedtime. The last time that the Dallas Cowboys were considered widely as the best team in the league, and we're not like during those years, the 49ers were still a formidable force.
Oh yeah.
They had a Hall of Fame quarterback sitting on the bench in San Francisco at that time.
The best receiver in the history of football.
Best receiver in the history of football. They had Ricky Waters. They had an elite defense.
All pros all over that team. I
mean, and then don't want to ruin it for anybody. If you don't know the story about the Dallas Cowboys and you live in Texas, even if you don't like the Dallas Cowboys, just to watch a good documentary.
It's a good watch.
It is a great watch. And it gives you a little look into the relationship that Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson had. And it chronicles the fracture before, leading up to, and during, and then the aftermath. And, a lot of people don't realize how big of a ripple that was.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, everybody wants to blame Jerry, and because he kind of stirred it when he was at the bar, like the night before the Super Bowl or something, and said anybody could coach this team. He proved that when he hired Barry Switzer, and Barry Switzer won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
but the fact is, Jimmy had been, Jacksonville had just gotten their expansion franchise. They were looking for a head coach, and Jimmy actually went and met with him. And then when they interviewed him about it, he said he didn't deny it. He's like, I mean, anybody would be intrigued. He said, I'm intrigued. So he had been, and he was kind of flirting with a couple of teams.
They were both arguing, playing with matches, both wearing gasoline-soaked underwear, and they wonder why it went awry. I mean, there were a lot of people like, I'm sure my dad would say the same thing. Jerry Jones is an idiot. He's the reason this all happened. But, man, that's a 50-50 deal, man. It was half Jerry, half Jimmy, and neither one of them knew how to just swallow their pride and say, hey, for the betterment of the franchise. God only knows what would have come. Like, they may have won the 3 in a row.
I'm saying you put – if Jimmy's there, they don't lose – the next year, because they won 2 in a row. They won the first. They won those 2 in a row, and then they lost to the 49ers in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
And the 49ers went on to win the Super Bowl. My thing is, I feel like if Jimmy had been there, you won 3 out of 4. I think there's a really solid chance that you win 4 in a row. And
definitely probably 3.
Yeah.
Because the difference between that 93 team and the 94 team that lost to the San Francisco 49ers in the division game, the NFC Championship, the difference was that hard coaching that Jimmy didn't relent that hard coaching until you won that NFC title game.
Yeah.
And then he was like, hey, we're in the Super Bowl. We all know where we're at. We all know what we need to do. We've done it. Now, outside of the first year, right? The first year he was still, hey, we got to do this. The second year, the point is, like you said, if Jimmy doesn't go, we are talking about making NFL that still hasn't been done. Nobody's won 3 in a row.
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
Dallas would have been the first one to win 3 in a row. Likely, very possibly would have won 4 in a row. And who knows what would have happened the rest of the the late 90s.
I mean, I do think that Jimmy Johnson had a shelf life.
Yeah.
Because his style does not work. He was a lot like, if you look at it, he was a lot like Parcells.
Oh yeah,
a lot like Belichick.
He's a dictator.
A lot like he didn't. One of the things that caught me off guard was he was talking about in one of the episodes. He was talking about that. You hear all the time the coaches talking about that cutting a player is one of the hardest things to do. And Jimmy basically said, no, not really for me.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there talking about going to Troy Aikman's house. Troy was talking about Jimmy coming to his house after Jimmy had helped him pick out an aquarium. He said the aquarium was in his master bedroom. He said, I had a chair in my master bedroom. He said, Jimmy would just come over and pull out that chair and had brought over a 6-pack of Heinekens and was sit there in front of just watch the fish tank and drink his Heinekens. Now I'm trying to picture that. Is Troy actually there? Or are they talking? Or are they both just sitting there staring at the fish?
I think Jimmy started to back off a little bit once he had established the culture.
Yeah.
But it's one of those dudes, right? Like when you've got a guy that has basically came in and was a key cog in re-engineering the entire outlook of the Dallas Cowboys, who were basically a laughingstock since the late 70s.
Oh, no. Well, yeah, I mean, actually, they lost on the catch, who I still believe Joe Montana was trying to throw that ball away, and Dwight Clark jumped 17 feet in the air.
17
catch it, but Montana was trying to throw the football away.
Yeah,
he couldn't see Dwight Clark back there. Ed Too Tall Jones was right in his face.
Yeah. I mean,
anyway,
watching it and watching, just how good, that offensive line was and how good Emmitt Smith was, and then the war that they went into to go to their first Super Bowl, the war that they had on that soup ass field at Candlestick Park. And then they did it again a few years later,
I got to tell you, there's one part that, and it's, I'll stop talking and let you talk a little bit more, but there's the one part that, man, it really fired me up. And that's when my old Cowboy fan came out, and Jerry Rice was talking about, we were gonna beat their ass, and I was like, the hell you are. I mean, that was 30 years ago, 30 plus
Watch
years
this
ago.
shit.
And I'm like, Jerry Rice's like, we're going to beat your ass. Like, no, the hell you're not. I got fired up over that just in, memory of him saying that from 30 years later.
I hate to be a homer here, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, we're a North Texas talk show. Like we're both diehard Cowboy fans, both Texas fans.
Yep.
There's always going to be a sweet spot, and that's why I'm loyal to a fault. I'm going to be loyal to the Mavericks as much as I hate Nico. Right?
Same.
I love the Mavericks. I love the Rangers. I love the Stars. I love the Cowboys, and I love Texas. Right? And regardless of what anyone says, the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas football Cowboys of the 1990s, Jerry Jones changed the league.
Oh, he did. He's changed it. He's changed it a lot since then.
He's still changing the league.
Yeah.
Jerry walks in, and we joke, right, about how he doesn't know how to run a team. He doesn't know how to run a business.
He can run a business. The problem is he's running this team, trying to run this team as a business, and it's not. Now, granted, this team, I saw you. I did a little Google machine and fired that up. This team is worth over $12 billion now, John, and that's on a $140 million investment. That's just think about what I don't know. I'm not good at math, but that's a hell of a return on investment right there.
Yeah, I want to say that's like 300% investment or something like that. Like I'm not great at math either, but
that's incredible, dude.
Charles, where you at? I need your math.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'll check he's pretty.
I mean,
math.
It's insane and sobering to think that he spent, and because the former owner was broke. Well, he sold it.
Yeah.
And look where it's become. And like he goes into Jerry was a hustler, man. When he got out of college, he was trying to figure out what to do, and he hustled. That's what he did. And I think the guys over on I don't know if it was G-Bag Nation or if it was on Sean and RJ for 105.3 The Fan. They were talking about it, and they were like, look, maybe it's one of those things where Jerry's got a lot of money tied up in investments and he can't afford to pay this contract. I'm like, dude, I don't believe that for a hot second.
Not even remote.
He doesn't have that kind of money tied up anywhere. Not
even remotely.
He's got more money than he knows what to do with. The problem is, and they even talk about it in the freaking documentary, what a cheapskate Steven was.
Yeah.
And he didn't have hair on his face, and he was still a cheapskate. It's like, dude, it's not even your money yet.
I love part of it going back to where, when Jerry was a lot younger, he tried to buy the Chargers, and he even enlisted the Teamsters.
Jimmy Hoffa.
And thankfully his dad talked him out of it.
Thank God, Mr. Jones.
My God, that would have been Jerry. We might have never heard of Jerry Jones after that.
He'd be in a hole with Jimmy.
Jeez, man.
Wherever the hell he's at, he's somewhere
Jimmy
underneath
Hoffa,
a building.
Yeah.
But
supposed to be under under Giant Stadium before they built that.
Something like that.
That's crazy.
Here's the thing, man. I love the Dallas Cowboys. I always will. People are going to make fun of the Dallas Cowboys and their fans. I don't care. You can't hurt me. I've been watching them suck for 30 years. Whatever you say is not going to hurt me. I've been conditioned to this. I still love them. I can't quit. I've tried to say, you know what? To hell with the Cowboys. I'm just going to root for the Chiefs this year. Now, I will never root for the damn Eagles. Never. Right?
Yeah.
If Jerry ceased to exist and the Cowboys sold and never came back, I would not be an Eagles fan. You couldn't pay me to be an Eagles fan. To hell with them, right?
No. You tell me how many fan bases, and I guarantee you there's not very many. How many fan bases would be happy with anywhere from without actually being a contender for so many years, being a legitimate contender. There's only been a couple of times in this franchise, in the last, since that last Super Bowl, that where they actually you felt like legitimate, like they could go do something. How many fan bases are gonna stick around for that and continue to fill the stadium and continue to buy the merchandise? There's maybe a handful of teams that would do that, but Dallas, they don't just sell out every now and then. Every game sold out, highest merchandise revenue.
Yeah,
they
So, and I know you haven't made it to it yet, so I don't want to ruin it for you, but you're probably aware of some of the stuff that's coming down the pipe. Like, Jerry Jones was like, to hell with that. I'm going to sign an endorsement deal with Phil Knight and Nike, right? And then he signed an endorsement, he was like, to hell with Coca-Cola. I'm going to sign my own private deal with Pepsi, right? And then the league actually sued him, but when he starts talking about it, they start talking about it. They did a revenue sharing between the teams, and I forget what he said. I forget the actual number, right? But something along the lines of, we were responsible for 87% of all of merchandise sales in the NFL, but we only got 1/28th or 1/30th of those sales.
Yeah.
So that's why he decided, I'm going to market my brand and my team, and that's why he's where he's at, because he broke the mold and was like, to hell with you. I'm going to do what this is my team. But you can tell that Jerry does love the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry wants to win, right?
A doubt. But the fact is, he wants to do it his way.
He wants to do it his way, and he likes money more.
And 100%. And you've heard me go over that. I've beat that. I'm not going to keep beating that dead horse. You know what I think about that.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm frozen on the screen, so I might
see it.
Might want to change that. to my profile picture on Facebook. There, it's a good looking picture. But anyway, I just thought I was trying to make a joke there. I thought that'd be fun.
And we FaceTimed today, in case you guys were wondering. We FaceTimed and we coordinated outfits. We're going to wear the same thing.
We did.
It's pretty cute.
Honestly, no, we didn't. We just happened to share a sports brain, and
that's true.
Is what happens.
That's very true. Now, I know we want to talk. We talked quite a bit about the documentary. We want to talk a little bit about the state of the Cowboys now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched any of that game this weekend.
Very, very little.
I watched half of it.
Very little.
Okay. I watched the first half. First and foremost, gross.
Yeah.
Is
Oh
all I'm
no,
gonna say.
it was disgusting. I saw some of the highlights or the lowlights. Yeah, it's
31 yards of total offense at half.
God, that's embarrassing, man.
31.
That's embarrassing.
Not 301, not 200, 31 yards of offense.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. It is inexcusable for any first round pick to look that inept at quarterback, right? First and foremost. Second of all,
Joe Milton wasn't a first round pick, was he? I don't
he
think
was. Yeah. I'm pretty
Really?
sure he was a first round pick.
I didn't think Joe Milton was picked that high, but he
Yeah.
just I mean, the fact is the guy should not be playing right now, John. He's clearly I see the physical talent. Everybody sees the physical talent. He's got next level talent as far as physical traits. But that
Oof, I was way off. He was a 6th round pick. I'm thinking Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, well, that's another guy very similar. Throw the ball 100 yards. But
He's got a cannon for an arm.
Yeah,
let's put it this way: if you're playing quarterback in the NFL, you should be able to provide more than 31 yards of offense.
Yeah, and the fact is that you had Cooper Rush. You let him walk out. He looked pretty good for Baltimore over there. And when Dak got hurt before, Cooper Rush come in and he's serviceable enough. I'm not gonna say he won you those games, but he didn't lose you any of these games.
Yeah, he didn't lose you the games.
If you try to run out Joe Milton right now, you're going to get embarrassed.
Oh yeah,
you're going to get embarrassed.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I'm going to hope that it's just that the backup quarterback is inept, and we're doing bread and like vanilla plays. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that the first team offense looks a hell of a lot better than it does, or that what we're currently seeing. I'm hoping that if they decide to roll the first team offense out there for a series, I'm hoping that, they'll drive straight down the field and they'll look great. Here's a couple things. We've got a running back by committee, right? We've got a banged up offensive line. We've got wide receivers that are both going to want the ball fed to them. And we've got a quarterback that can't stay healthy. And then we've got a defense that couldn't stop a nosebleed if they were a blanket. So you tell me what in there gives you optimism on top of the fact that, the trajectory of the Dallas Cowboys is on a downward trend, at least between Romo and Dak succeeding Romo.
Yeah.
You had a solid offensive line. You were continuing to build. You were starting to add assets on defense. You had the Great Wall of Dallas, and you had Zeke in his prime, right? So a lot of people argue, man, that Dak Prescott is a product of having a great offensive line, and those years that he looked decent until we got to the playoffs and choked. You can't make excuses when you make $60 million a year.
He'll put up numbers, but I mean,
he will. But most of the time, it's going to be in garbage time. You look
hollow numbers.
Yeah, you look at the stats, man. Like you look at his playoff games. He's got an above 90 QB rating 3 times, and one of them when he played damn near perfect against Tom Brady the last year that Tom Brady was in the league, right? Yeah. That was not the same Tom Brady led Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they were the year before, the year prior, when they embarrassed Dallas. You're talking about a team that Jerry, kind of in the same boat as the Rangers. You're not far from needing a restart.
Yeah, this is true.
And now you can do it. Now you can rip the Band-Aid off, and if you're willing to piss on Micah Parsons at this point, and I love Micah Parsons. I don't want this to happen. This is going to be a hot take. Prepare yourselves.
Oh yeah.
If you're going to poo-poo on that relationship, and you're at this point now, you've got Dak Prescott for 3 more years on that salary that he's got.
Yes, sir.
You might as well rip the Band-Aid off now and trade him for assets.
Yeah.
Not Dak Prescott. Trade Micah Parsons for everything that you can get before the Cincinnati Bengals trade Hendrickson for whatever they can get, because that's going to set your floor.
Yeah. No.
And Micah Parsons is 6 years younger than him.
Yeah.
And has the tools to be elite.
You know as well as I do, though, they're never going to completely embrace the suck.
No.
Because they won't tear it down and rebuild it because it's going to hurt their pocketbook.
Yep. And they're not going to do that.
So let's just stay mediocre.
Yeah.
I think at the top end, John, I believe this team is probably 10 wins if everything falls right.
If we stay healthy and everything falls right,
everything falls
I
right.
agree.
10 wins. But I could also see this team bottoming out and winning 5 games. They're just
with that defense and the division that we're in.
Oh yeah,
it's not impossible to see us being the 4th best team in this division.
No, because the Giants added, they have a couple of competent quarterbacks. Yep. They added a really nasty pass rusher in the draft in Abdul Carter. From what I understand, he has just been a complete monster.
He's a menace. He's great.
Well, yeah, I agree. We're getting into the show, bud. I've enjoyed talking Cowboys a little bit more. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more next week, and we'll get into Longhorns game week.
Yep, and we'll see you guys. Thanks again to Ensemble Co-working. Couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you. We'll see you next week.